What if I told you that the universe has a secret accounting system? That every small action you take, every tiny decision, every seemingly insignificant moment of effort is being recorded, accumulated, and eventually rewarded in ways you never imagined. Today, we're diving deep into one of philosophy's most profound yet overlooked truths: the transformative power of small, consistent actions. I'm talking about the mysterious force that turns droplets into oceans, moments into lifetimes, and ordinary people into extraordinary beings. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the universe seems to conspire in favor of those who embrace the philosophy of small steps, and how you can harness this ancient wisdom to unlock your full potential. Picture this. Two people stand at the base of a mountain. One looks up and declares, "I'll conquer this peak in a single, heroic leap." The other simply takes one step forward. Who do you think reaches the summit? This isn't just a metaphor. It's the fundamental principle that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who merely dream about achieving them. And here's the fascinating part. The universe has built-in mechanisms that reward this approach in ways that go far beyond simple goal achievement. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle understood something that modern society seems to have forgotten. He said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Think about this profound statement for a moment. Aristotle isn't saying we are what we achieve once in a while, or what we accomplish during our peak moments. He's telling us that our very identity, our essence, is forged in the crucible of daily repetition. But why does this work? Why does the universe seem to reward small, consistent actions over grand, sporadic gestures? The answer lies in what I call the compound philosophy of being. Just as compound interest transforms small investments into vast fortunes over time, small actions compound into massive life changes. But here's where it gets interesting. The universe doesn't just reward the end result. It begins rewarding you the moment you start this process. Every small action sends a signal to the universe. I am someone who follows through. I am someone who can be trusted with bigger opportunities. I am someone who understands the sacred contract between effort and reward. The universe responds to this signal by opening doors, creating synchronicities, and aligning circumstances in your favor. It's not magic. It's the natural consequence of becoming the type of person who takes action, even when that action feels insignificantly small. Now let's dive into the science behind why small actions are so powerful. Your brain doesn't distinguish between big achievements and small ones when it comes to building neural pathways. Every time you follow through on a small commitment to yourself, you strengthen what neuroscientists call the success circuit in your brain. Here's what's happening on a neurological level. Each small action creates what researchers term micro-victories. These micro-victories trigger the release of dopamine, not just when you complete the action, but in anticipation of completing it. This creates what psychologist Dr. Teresa Amabile calls the progress principle. The progress principle reveals that our sense of well-being and motivation is most powerfully triggered not by achieving final goals, but by making consistent progress toward those goals. In other words, the journey itself becomes the reward. But there's an even deeper layer to this. Small actions create what I call identity momentum. Each time you do something small that aligns with who you want to become, you cast a vote for that identity. Write one paragraph and you're voting to be a writer. Do 10 push-ups and you're voting to be someone who exercises. Meditate for 5 minutes and you're voting to be someone who prioritizes inner peace. The universe responds to this identity momentum by presenting opportunities that match your new identity. Suddenly, you'll notice writing contests, meet people who can help with your fitness journey, or discover meditation retreats that seem to appear at just the right moment. This isn't coincidence. It's the natural result of aligning your actions with your intentions. Here's where small actions reveal one of the universe's most beautiful paradoxes. The less you force, the more you achieve. The smaller your actions, the greater your results. This might sound counterintuitive in our culture of hustle harder and go big or go home. But the wisdom traditions have understood this for millennia. The Tao Te Ching speaks of Wu Wei, effortless action. Buddhism teaches us about the middle path. Even physics shows us that the most powerful forces in the universe, gravity, electromagnetic fields, nuclear forces, operate through countless small interactions rather than dramatic bursts. When you take small actions consistently, you're working with the grain of the universe rather than against it. You're acknowledging that sustainable change happens through patience, persistence, and presence, not through force, frustration, and frantic energy. The universe rewards this approach because small actions are sustainable. They don't deplete your willpower reserves or create the boom and bust cycles that come with heroic efforts. Instead, they build what philosophers call practical wisdom, the ability to consistently choose the right action at the right time in the right way. This creates a feedback loop of success. Small actions lead to small results. Small results build confidence. Confidence enables slightly bigger actions. Bigger actions create bigger results, and so on, until what started as a tiny ripple becomes a transformative wave. Let me share some real-world examples of how the universe rewards small actions through compound effects. Consider the story of Warren Buffett, who started investing small amounts of money in his teens. He didn't make dramatic, risky bets. Instead, he consistently applied simple principles over decades. The universe rewarded this patient approach by making him one of the wealthiest people in history. But more importantly, it rewarded him with something even more valuable: the peace of mind that comes from aligned action. Or think about Maya Angelou, who committed to writing just a few pages every day in a small room she rented specifically for writing. She would arrive each morning, write for a few hours, and leave. No drama, no grand gestures, just consistent small actions. The universe rewarded her with 7 autobiographies, numerous poetry collections, and a literary legacy that continues to inspire millions. But you don't need to become famous to experience this principle. Every day, ordinary people are discovering that small actions create extraordinary results. The person who reads 10 pages a day becomes well-read within a year. The person who walks 15 minutes daily gradually transforms their health and energy. The person who practices gratitude for 5 minutes each morning slowly rewires their brain for happiness and abundance. The universe doesn't care if you're trying to become a billionaire or simply trying to become a better version of yourself. The principle remains the same. Consistent small actions sustained over time create compound results that seem almost magical to those who don't understand the process. Now, let's be honest about the challenges. The path of small actions isn't always easy, not because the actions themselves are difficult, but because our minds resist the simplicity. We live in a culture addicted to dramatic transformation stories. We want the montage, the overnight success, the sudden breakthrough. Small actions feel, well, small. They don't trigger the same excitement as grand plans and bold resolutions. This is what I call the significance trap. We mistakenly believe that if an action doesn't feel significant, it can't create significant results. But the universe operates on different principles. It values consistency over intensity, persistence over passion, and patience over power. The resistance you feel when considering small actions is actually a sign that you're onto something important. Your ego wants to maintain the status quo, so it whispers things like, "This won't make a difference. You need to do more," or "This is too simple to work." But here's the secret. The simplicity is the power. Small actions bypass the ego's resistance mechanisms. They're too small to trigger fear, too simple to create overwhelm, and too easy to justify postponing. When you commit to small actions despite this resistance, you begin to develop what philosophers call moral courage, the strength to do what's right even when it doesn't feel significant. The universe rewards this quality by gradually increasing your capacity for larger actions and greater responsibilities. So how do you harness this principle in your own life? Here are 3 philosophical frameworks that can guide your journey. First, embrace the minimum viable progress mindset. Instead of asking, "What's the most I can do?" ask, "What's the least I can do that still moves me forward?" This question shifts your focus from intensity to consistency, which is where the real power lies. Second, practice what I call identity-based action. Before taking any small action, connect it to the identity you're building. Don't just go for a walk. Walk as someone who prioritizes their health. Don't just write a paragraph, write as someone who has important things to share with the world. Third, cultivate process pride rather than outcome attachment. Take pride in showing up, in following through, in honoring your commitments to yourself, regardless of immediate results. The universe responds to this integrity by accelerating your progress in unexpected ways. Remember, the goal isn't to start small and stay small. The goal is to start small and build sustainably. Small actions are the foundation, not the ceiling. The universe has a profound respect for those who understand the power of small actions. It rewards them not just with better results, but with better lives. Lives filled with confidence, momentum, and the deep satisfaction that comes from aligned living. Every small action you take is a conversation with the universe. You're saying, I believe in the process. I trust in compound growth. I understand that who I become is more important than what I achieve. And the universe responds by saying, I've been waiting for someone like you, someone who understands that greatness is built one small action at a time. So here's my challenge for you. Pick one small action you can take today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Take it so small that you can't talk yourself out of it. Then take that action and pay attention to how it feels to honor a commitment to yourself. That feeling. That's the universe beginning to reward you for understanding one of its most fundamental laws. What small action will you take today? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, small actions, compounded over time, create the life of your dreams. If this video resonated with you, hit that like button to tell the algorithm that philosophical wisdom matters. Subscribe for more deep dives into the principles that can transform your life. And ring that notification bell so you never miss new insights. Remember, the universe rewards those who take action, even small ones. I'll see you in the next video.